Good morning, students. Today we'll be starting with Act 3, Scene 1 of the Tempest. Before we start, let's have a look at the important events which will take place in this particular scene. The scene opens with Ferdinand carrying wood willingly to prove his love for Miranda. You remember in Act 1, what happened? Prospero assigned Ferdinand difficult tasks. Why? Why did Prospero do that? In spite of knowing that he was a prince.
Ma'am, to test his love for Miranda.
Yes, he wanted to test his love for Miranda, right? Because he believed that anything which we get easily loses its value, right? We don't value the things which are easily acquired by us. So that is why he wanted to make things difficult for Ferdinand so that he values Miranda. So he is assigned with the task of carrying wood and piling them. This is in contrast to the curses which accompanied Caliban's toil at the beginning of the proceedings. See, why is it in contrast? You remember when Caliban was carrying the woods, he was cursing Prospero, but Ferdinand doesn't do this, right? Ferdinand is ready to carry the woods happily in spite of the fact that he was not accustomed to such hard work, such toil. But still he does it. Why? Because he feels that he is doing this for Miranda's love, right? So he doesn't feel pain in doing such a arduous task also. The love between Ferdinand and Miranda is a part of the play's larger pattern of atonement and reconciliation. This is important. This love story between Ferdinand and Miranda, why is it important? Because it will lead to atonement and reconciliation. Means the sins which were committed by their elders, the enmity, the hatred, which was present there between their elders, that is between King Alonso and Prospero, right? They were trying to harm each other, especially King Alonso. So it will lead to atonement, means compensation. It will lead to amendment and reconciliation, means reuniting. All the characters will come together because of the love between Ferdinand and Miranda. Because if Miranda will get married to Ferdinand, then their enmity, the enmity between Naples and Milan, the enmity between Alonso and Prospero, it will automatically come to an end. So this is the importance of the love story between Ferdinand and Miranda, right? It will lead to the atonement and the reconciliation. They can ask you this in long answer questions, so you should be able to write your answer. The purity and innocence of their love atones for the suspicions, hostilities, and betrayals of their father's generation. So father's generation means their elders, right? There was hostility between them. They were suspicious of each other's actions. They were trying to harm each other. They betrayed each other in the past. But these suspicions, hostilities of their father's generation, that is Alonso and Prospero's generation, right, which had only hatred and enmity for one another, that will come to an end, or that will be reconciled and atoned by the innocent love of Ferdinand and Miranda. Right? Prospero is seen here in his godlike role. This is important. I told you that Prospero plays the role of God in this play, overseeing two of the creatures carrying out his design. Right? So Ferdinand and Miranda, they are completely oblivious of the fact, they are completely unaware of the fact that they have been made to fall in love by Prospero. It is because of Prospero's magic, right? It is a part of Prospero's design, or it is a part of Prospero's plan to make them fall in love, right? Which both these creatures, that is Ferdinand and Miranda, they are completely unaware of. Actually, in this particular scene, Miranda goes to visit Ferdinand secretly. She feels that her father is completely unaware of this fact, right? She feels that she has come there. This is a secret visitation, but Prospero knows everything. So this is like this is his godlike role, right? The creatures, that is Ferdinand and Miranda, they are acting according to Prospero's will, and they are unaware of this fact. They feel that they are doing this. They feel that it is because of their emotions and feelings that they have started liking each other. But this is something natural. But this is not the truth. Because it was Prospero's design, it was Prospero's plan that they should fall in love. So they have been made to fall in love. This is clear? Fine. So this scene takes place before Prospero's cell. And Ferdinand is there. Enter Ferdinand carrying a log of wood. So because Ferdinand was assigned this job of carrying logs of wood, so he enters the scene with a log of wood in his hand. There be some sports are painful, and their labor delight in them sets off. Sets off means compensates, right? So Ferdinand says, while he was carrying the logs, he says that there are some sports. Sports here means jobs. There are certain tasks, there are certain jobs which are very tedious, which are very painful, which require a lot of hard work, and their labor delights in themselves. But the results which you get by doing these hard tasks, by doing these difficult jobs, that delight, that happiness which you get in performing those tasks, those difficult tasks, in them sets off. That is a compensation for all the hard work which you have undergone, right? The pleasure, the delight, the happiness which you get on doing such hard jobs or hard tasks, that compensates all the toil and the labor which you have put in performing that job. Some kinds of baseness are nobly undergone. Undergone means undertaken. Kinds of baseness means there are certain base things, that is very humble things, which are nobly undertaken, and most poor matters point to it. And there are times that most poor matters, most modest, most humble matters, they lead to rich ends. Rich ends means rich results, right? The results are glorious. Though the task, though the job, though the matter may be poor, though the matter may be very humble, but still it might lead to rich ends. It might give you glorious, great results. This my mean task would be as heavy to me as odious, right? Odious means hateful, right? So he says, this mean task. See, you should remember the fact that Ferdinand was a prince. He has never done this kind of menial job in his life. A prince must have never even touched the logs of wood. Forget about piling them, carrying them and piling them, right? So he was not accustomed to such hard toil. So that is what he says, that this my mean task would be as heavy to me as odious. This mean task which I am doing, this humble task which I am doing would be as heavy to me as odious. It is heavy to me. It is difficult for me to do, right? It requires a lot of labor, and it is odious also. This task is hateful for me also. It is a detestable job which I am doing. But the mistress which I serve quickens what's dead and makes my labors pleasure. But the mistress is for Miranda, right? But the mistress which I serve. But when I think about the person for whom I am doing this job, I am carrying these logs of wood for Miranda, quickens what's dead. What happens? It lightens what's dead. Dead means dull, right? Whatever is dull, whatever actually seems to be dull, boring, hateful, detestable, that becomes interesting. That is lightened up when I think about the person for whom I am doing this job, right? When I think about the person, when I think about Miranda for whom I am carrying these logs of wood, then this task, this hateful, this disgusting task also seems joyful to me, makes my labors pleasure. My labors, my hard work also seems pleasurable to me. Oh, she's 10 times more gentle than her father's craft. So now he is making a comparison between Miranda and Prospero. And he says that she is 10 times more gentle, right? She has a 10 times gentler heart than her father's craft. Craft meaning very irritable and hard-hearted, right? Very harsh. So she says that her father is rude, but Miranda is 10 times gentler than her father. And he's composed of harshness. Her father is composed of harshness, rudeness. He has a cruel heart. His heart is crabbed, but she is a gentle soul. I must remove some thousands of these logs and pile them. And so he's talking to himself and he says that I need to remove some thousands of these logs and make them into a pile, because this is the job which has been assigned to him by Prospero. I need to do this job of removing thousands of logs and making them into a pile upon a sore injunction. Or what will happen? I will be punished. So upon a sore injunction means that there is threat of strict punishment, there is threat of severe punishment if I do not do this job of removing these logs and making them into a pile. My sweet mistress weeps when she sees me work. Sweet mistress is again for Miranda. My sweet mistress, my sweet lady love, she weeps, she cries when she sees me work so hard, and says such baseness had never like executed. And what does Miranda say? That such a base job has never got such a great executor, right? Such executor is the person who does the job. Such a base work would have never got such a good executor, means the performer. The work is so base and the performer is so great. What she was trying to say was that, see, he was a prince, right? So this job of piling the logs must have not been done by a prince in the past. So because prince is the executor, prince is the one who is doing this job. So that is what Miranda says, that such a base work as piling these logs, carrying these logs must have never got such an executor, means the person who executes, who performs a task. I forget. So then he starts thinking about Miranda and he forgot to do his work. Stood there, leaving the logs aside, and he started thinking about Miranda. Then he all of a sudden realizes and he says, oh, I forget my work. When I start thinking about Miranda, I forget my work. But these sweet thoughts do even refresh my mind. But these sweet thoughts about Miranda. See, now he is madly in love with Miranda. So all the time, these new lovers, they go on thinking about their beloved. So, but these sweet thoughts do even refresh my papers. But these sweet thoughts of Miranda, thoughts of his lady love, they refresh my labor. Refresh my labor means lighten my work. Lighten such a heavy work. Though the work is heavy, though the work requires a lot of toil, effort, labor, but my labor is lightened up. My labor becomes less when my mind is occupied with such sweet thoughts. Most busy least when I do. So when I am most busy doing my work, I don't even feel the burden, right? I don't even feel the you can say the effort which I put in. Why? Because it is lightened up by my thoughts, which are of Miranda. So I feel that I am least busy when I am working the most, when I am putting in the most amount of labor, then I feel that I am least busy. That is the impact of Miranda on his mind. Enter Miranda and Prospero Epicus. So Now Miranda enters the scene and Prospero also enters the scene, but Prospero is not visible to Miranda or to Ferdinand. Right? He is also present there, but he is hiding away. Right? He is invisible to both Ferdinand and Miranda. Any problem till here? Okay. So now Miranda sees her lover working so hard. Obviously, she will not like it. She'll feel sad and depressed. So Miranda says, alas, now pray you, work not so hard. I would the lightning had burnt up those logs that you are enjoying to find. So Miranda says that, alas, it's really so sad to see you work so hard. And I request you, please don't work so hard. Right? Work not so hard means I'm requesting you, I'm begging you, I'm praying you not to work so hard. I would. Now she curses these logs and she prays that I wish, I desire that lightning should fall upon these logs and these logs may be burnt by lightning. That you are enjoined to pile. Enjoined to pile means that you are ordered, right? You have been instructed, you have been ordered and commanded by my father to pile these logs. I wish, I very strongly pray that these logs may be burnt by lightning. May lightning fall upon these logs. Pray, set it down and rest you. So she again requests Ferdinand and says that I pray to you, I request you, I beg you to please leave these logs and rest for a while. When this burns, it will be for having buried you. So she says that when these logs will be used for fuel to burn fire, right? Because they are living on an island. So these logs will be used as a fuel to the fire. So she says that even these logs will weep. They will shed tears from their eyes for having wearied you, for having made you so tired, right? So these logs will also repent. These logs will also sympathize and shed tears when they will go into the fire because they made you feel tired. My father is hard at study. Pray now, rest yourself. She says that my father is busy in his study. He is not going to come here soon, right? So I request you, you relax, keep these logs aside and rest for some time. He's safe for these 3 hours. He will not be here before 3 hours, right? So you have enough time to rest. So you please keep these logs aside and rest for some time. Oh, most dear mistress, the sun will set before I shall discharge what I must strive to do. So Ferdinand refuses and he says that my dearest mistress, I want to tell you that I have been given the task of piling these logs before sunset, right? So I have to do it. I need to discharge my duties. I need to fulfill my task. I need to complete my work, which I am trying to do. When what I must strive to do means what has been assigned to me, right? Which I have to do, which is my duty to do. I wish to discharge my work. I wish to complete my work, finish my work before the sun sets. Miranda, if you will sit down, I'll bear your logs a while. Pray, give me that. I'll carry it to the fire. So Miranda says, okay, fine. You are not willing to give up. You are not willing to rest and waste your time in resting. So now what we can do is you can rest for some time and in the meantime, I will carry these logs on your behalf. Give me that. And she asks Ferdinand to give him the log of wood. I will carry it to the pile. You give me that log, I will carry it to the pile and you can rest in the meantime. You can just rest and relax for some time while I will do your job. No, precious creature, I had rather crack my snooze, break my bones, than you should such dishonor undergo, while I sit lazy by. Now see, this was against like the chivalry of a man, right? How can a man allow a woman to, in those days, right? How can a man allow a woman to do such arduous task of carrying the logs and he is sitting nicely, right? So this Ferdinand objected to it, and he said, and that too when she is his lady love. So Ferdinand says, no, precious creature, you are a very valuable creature. You are my sweet lady. How can I allow you to do this? I had rather crack my snooze. I would rather strain my muscles, break my bone, even if my, break my back, even if my back breaks, even if my muscles are strained, then also I will not allow you to do this kind of dishonorable work. Then also I will not allow you to do such kind of mean task while I sit lazy by, while I am sitting idle, while I am resting, and you doing such mean, humble, dishonorable, disgusting job. This is something which I cannot tolerate, even if my back breaks or my muscles are strained. Miranda, it would become me as well as it does. So Miranda says that if this task is appropriate for you, right? If this task is proper for you, then this task is proper for me also. And I should do it with much more ease. And she says that it will be much more easier for me to do than it is for you, right? You are finding it more difficult. And she gives the reason for it. For my goodwill is to it. This is the reason. She says that because I am doing it willingly and you are being forced to do it. You didn't take up this task of piling the logs out of your own sweet will. But I am doing it out of my own sweet will because I want to do it. I want you to rest. So I am taking the initiative of doing this job, but you didn't do it. You were forced to do this job. So this task, anything which you do out of your own sweet will, out of your own intention, you like doing it. You enjoy doing that job, and that job becomes easier for you. So that is what Miranda says, that if this task is proper for you, then this task is proper for me also. It's appropriate for me also, and I will do it with much more ease and much more comfortably than you are doing it. Why? Because I am doing it out of my own goodwill, and yours it is against. But you are not doing it willingly. You are reluctant to do it. You have been forced to do it. You are doing it because my father ordered and instructed you to do it. So that is why it will be easier for me than it is for you. Prospero aside. Now Prospero was there, was present there, though he was invisible to Ferdinand and Miranda. And he says, poor worm, thou art infected. Poor worm here means poor creatures. They have been infected with love. This visitation shows it. This secret visit which has been performed by my daughter, right? Miranda came to visit Ferdinand secretly without the knowledge of her father. Though Prospero knows everything because Prospero was the one who planned everything. So, but Miranda doesn't know that her father is aware of this fact. So Prospero says that poor creatures, they have been infected with love. And this visitation, this secret visit is a proof of it. That now both of them are madly in love with each other. Miranda, you look very. So Miranda says that you look very tired. Ferdinand, no, noble mistress, just fresh morning with me when you are by at night. So Ferdinand says that no, I am not at all tired, my noble mistress, my sweet mistress, I am not at all tired. Whenever you are there with me, it is like fresh morning. Even if you are present with me at night, even if you will be with me at night, then that night will also seem to me like fresh morning. I do beseech you, chiefly that I might set it in my prayers. What is your name? So this was the way they used to ask the name of the lady in those days. He says that I request you. Why? Because I want to pray for you. I want to include your name in my prayers. So can you please tell me your name? He doesn't know the name of his lady love till now. So that he says that is why I want to know your name, because I want to include your name in my prayers. So what is your name? Miranda. So Miranda answers. Miranda tells her name to Ferdinand. Oh, my father, I have broke your hest to say so. And the moment she utters her name, she realizes that she has broken the instructions which were given by her father. She says, she tells her name to Ferdinand, and then she utters that, oh, my father, I'm sorry, my father, I just broke your command. Hest means command or order, right? To say so. You asked me not to tell my name, but still I have told my name to this young gentleman, and so I have disobeyed you by telling my name to him. Ferdinand. Now this speech is important. Right? Please mark this speech as important. Admired Miranda. So now Ferdinand starts praising Miranda. He says, admired Miranda. Admired means you are the most wonderful Miranda. Indeed, the top of admiration. Right? You stand at the top of admiration. No one can be admired more than you. Worth what's dearest to the world. You are at the summit. You are at the zenith of everything in this world. You are the most dearest thing in the world. You are at the highest point in this world. Full many a lady I have eyed with best regard. Then he says that before you I have met many ladies. Eyed with best regard means I have very attentively been involved. I have given very careful attention to several ladies in the past. And many a time the harmony of their tongues hath into bondage brought my too diligent. So, and many a times, not that I have met only bad women till now. In the past also, I have met many women and eyed them with best regard. Eyed them with best regard means I have given my careful attention to many women in the past. And what happened many a times? And several times the harmony of their tongue means the sweetness of their speech, right? Their voice, their sweet voice, their melodious voice hath into bondage brought my diligent. And hath into bondage means I was attracted, I was drawn towards them because of their sweetness, because of their sweet voice. Brought my too diligent ear means my careful attention. My attention was attracted towards them because of their melodious voice, because of their sweet voice. For several virtues hath I liked several women. And there are several women women which have been liked by me because of the different virtues they have possessed. In the past also I have met many women who were very virtuous, who had such great, wonderful qualities in them that I was attracted towards them, I admired them. Never any with so full soul. But I have never admired any of them. Was never attracted to any of them with so full soul, with so much dedication as I am attracted towards. Why? With such a great devotion. The devotion which I feel for you, the admiration which I feel for you is the greatest. That is something which I have never felt for any woman in the past. But some defect in her did quarrel with the noblest face and put it to the void. So what happened with other women? Other women were also virtuous. They had great qualities. They possessed greatness. They possessed several virtues, but they had some or the other other defect in them, some or the other weakness in them, some or the other weakness of their character did quarrel with the noblest grace she owned, which was in contrast with the greatest qualities, with the noblest grace, with the noblest virtues which they possessed, and put it to foil. Put it to foil means even the greatest quality possessed by them, by these women whom I met, was defeated by one or the other defect in their character. They were good women, they were virtuous women, but still they possessed some or the other defect, which some or the other flaw in their character, which defeated the greatest qualities possessed by them. But you, oh you, so perfect and so beautiful. But you, my dear Miranda, you are so perfect. You seem to be flawless. You seem to be peerless. Peerless means beyond comparison, somebody who doesn't have a parallel, right? So non-parallel, you are beyond comparison, and you are perfect. You don't have any flaw. You are flawless. Are created of every creature's best. You are the best of all the creatures which are present on this earth. You have the best. You possess the best virtues of all the women who are present on this earth. You are an embodiment of a perfect woman. It's almost time, so I think, and it's a long. The next speech is a very long one, so I think we should end here, and we'll continue. So Miranda's speech on the next. Thank you.